Hi there, and welcome to our lesson. Today we're going to talk about infections and the immune system. Здравствуйте! Сегодня мы с вами поговорим об инфекциях и иммунной системе. Today we're going to learn about some key terms related to infections and the immune system. As future medical professionals, understanding these terms is essential for diagnosing, treating, and explaining conditions to patients. So, let's get started. The first one, we will begin with general terms. And the first word is immune system. Immune system – это иммунная система. That is the body's defense system against infections. For example, the immune system fights off harmful bacteria. Иммунная система борется с вредными бактериями. Next one is pathogen. Pathogen – это патоген. A microorganism that causes disease. Let's have a look at an example sentence. The pathogen spread quickly through the air. Патоген быстро распространился через воздух. Infection. Infection. Это инфекция. The invasion and growth of pathogens in the body. For example, the doctor prescribed antibiotics for the infection. Врач назначил антибиотики для лечения инфекции. Next word is virus. Virus. That is a teeny infectious agent that replicates inside cells. Virus – это вирус. For example, the flu virus is highly contagious. Вирус гриппа очень заразен. Слово contagious – это заразный. Bacteria. Bacteria – это бактерия. So single-celled microorganisms, some of which cause disease. For example, harmful bacteria can cause food poisoning. Вредные бактерии могут вызвать пищевое отравление. Next one is fungi or fungi. It depends on the pronunciation. Fungi – это грибок. Organisms such as molds or yeasts that can cause infections. For example, athlete's foot is caused by fungi. Стопа атлета поражена грибком. Parasite. Parasite. An organism that lives on or in a host, harming it. Parasite – это паразит. For example, malaria is caused by a parasite transmitted by mosquitoes. Малярия вызывается паразитом, передаваемым комарами. Next one is inflammation. Inflammation – это воспаление. The body's response to injury or infection causing redness or swelling. For example, inflammation can be a sign of infection. Воспаление может быть признаком инфекции. Antigen. Antigen. Это антиген. A substance that triggers an immune response. For example, vaccines work by introducing a harmless antigen. Вакцины работают, вводя безвредный антиген. And the last one is antibody. Antibody. Это антитела. Antibody is a protein produced by the immune system to fight antigens. For example, the body produces antibodies after a vaccine. Организм вырабатывает антитела после вакцинации. Now we'll talk about types of infections. The first one is viral infection. Viral infection, that is an infection caused by a virus. Viral infection – это вирусная инфекция. For example, the common cold is a type of viral infection. Простуда – это вид вирусной инфекции. Bacterial infection. Bacterial infection. That is an infection caused by bacteria. Bacterial infection – это бактериальная инфекция. For example, strep throat is a common bacterial infection. Ангина – это распространенная бактериальная инфекция. Fungal infection. That is an infection caused by fungi. Это грибковая инфекция. A yeast infection is a common type of fungal infection. Дрожжевая инфекция – это распространенный тип грибковой инфекции. Yeast – это дрожжи, yeast infection – это дрожжевая инфекция. So next one is parasitic infection. Parasitic infection – это паразитная инфекция. An infection caused by parasites. For example, malaria is a serious parasitic infection. Малярия – это серьезная паразитная инфекция. Next one is sepsis. Sepsis. That is a life-threatening reaction to an infection that spreads in the blood. Sepsis – это сепсис. Жизненно угрожающая реакция на инфекцию, которая распространяется в крови. For example, sepsis can develop from untreated infections. Сепсис может развиться из-за нелеченных инфекций. Next one is opportunistic infection. Once again, opportunistic infection. Это оппортунистическая инфекция. An infection that occurs when immune system is weakened. Инфекция, которая развивается, когда иммунная система ослаблена. For example, HIV patients are vulnerable to opportunistic infections. Пациенты с ВИЧ подвержены оппортунистическим инфекциям. Vulnerable – это уязвимый, либо подверженный. And the last one is nosocomial infection. Nosocomial infection. That is an infection occurred in a hospital or healthcare setting. Nosocomial infection – это внутрибольничная инфекция, либо инфекция, которая развилась в больнице. The patient developed a nosocomial infection after surgery. У пациента развилась внутрибольничная инфекция после операции. Now let's have a look at immune responses. So the first one is innate immunity. Innate immunity. That is the body's natural, non-specific defense against pathogens. Innate immunity – это врожденный иммунитет. For example, innate immunity responds quickly to infections. Врожденный иммунитет быстро реагирует на инфекции. Adaptive immunity. Adaptive immunity – это адаптивный иммунитет. The specific immune response developed after exposure to antigens. Let's have a look at the example. Vaccines train adaptive immunity to fight diseases. Вакцины обучают адаптивный иммунитет бороться с болезнями. Next one is allergy. Allergy. That is an exaggerated immune response to a harmless substance. Allergy – это аллергия. She has a severe allergy to peanuts. У нее сильная аллергия на арахис. Next one is autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease. That is a condition where the immune system attacks the body's own tissues. Autoimmune disease – это аутоиммунное заболевание. For example, rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease. Ревматоидный артрит – это аутоиммунное заболевание. Immunodeficiency. Immunodeficiency. That is a weakened immune system unable to fight infections effectively. Immunodeficiency – это иммунодефицит. For example, HIV leads to severe immunodeficiency if untreated. ВИЧ приводит к серьезному иммунодефициту, если его не лечить. Hypersensitivity – это гиперчувствительность. So an excessive immune reaction to a specific antigen. For example, hypersensitivity can cause skin rashes. Гиперчувствительность может вызвать кожные высыпания. And the last one is histamine. Histamine. Это гистамин. a chemical involved in allergic reactions and inflammation. For example, antihistamines block the effects of histamine. Антигистамины блокируют действие гистамина. Now, let's have a look at preventive measures. Давайте мы с вами рассмотрим меры по предотвращению. The first one is hand hygiene. Hand hygiene. The practice of cleaning hands to prevent infection. Hand hygiene – это гигиена рук. For example, regular hand hygiene helps stop the spread of germs. Регулярная гигиена рук помогает предотвратить распространение микробов. Next one is sterilization. Sterilization. The process of eliminating all microorganisms, including spores. Sterilization – это стерилизация. For example, surgical tools must undergo sterilization. Хирургические инструменты должны пройти стерилизацию. Disinfection. Disinfection. That is the process of killing most harmful microorganisms on surfaces. Disinfection – это дезинфекция. For example, disinfection is essential in hospitals. Дезинфекция необходима либо важна в больницах. Quarantine. Quarantine. Restricting the movement of people exposed to an infectious disease. Quarantine – это карантин. The patient was placed in quarantine after exposure. Пациента поместили в карантин после контакта с заболевшим. Isolation. Isolation. That is separating infected individuals to prevent disease spread. Isolation – это изолирование либо изоляция. For example, isolation is necessary for patients with contagious diseases. Изоляция необходима для пациентов с заразными заболеваниями. Contagious diseases – это заболевания, которые передаются, то есть заразные. Personal protective equipment or PPE. Once again, personal protective equipment, PPE. That is sterilized clothing or equipment to protect against infections. Это индивидуальные меры самозащиты. For example, healthcare workers must wear PPE during procedures. Медицинские работники должны носить СИЗ во время процедур. So now let's consolidate the knowledge. You have to match the terms with the definitions. We have 6 terms related to preventive measures. You have to read the terms and match them with the correct definition on the right. Pause the video and do the exercise. Now let's check the correct answers. So hand hygiene – это гигиена рук. The correct answer is D, the practice of cleaning hands to prevent infection. Sterilization – это стерилизация. So it is F, the process of eliminating all microorganisms, including spores. Third one, disinfection – это дезинфекция. The correct answer is C, the process of killing most harmful microorganisms on surfaces. Quarantine – это карантин. The correct answer is E, restricting the movement of people exposed to an infectious disease. Fifth one, isolation, изоляция. That is A, separating infected individuals to prevent disease spread. And the last one, personal protective equipment, индивидуальные оборудование для самозащиты. That is B, sterilized clothing or equipment to protect against infection. Now let's have a look at exercise 2. You have to fill in the blanks. You have to complete 6 sentences with the correct word from the word bank. We have PPE, quarantine, hand hygiene, disinfection, isolation, and sterilization. Pause the video, read the sentences, and complete them. Now, let's read the correct answers. Regular hand hygiene is one of the easiest ways to prevent the spread of infections. All surgical instruments must undergo sterilization before use. Rooms in hospitals are cleaned thoroughly with chemicals to ensure proper disinfection. The patient showing symptoms was placed in quarantine to monitor their condition. Healthcare workers wear PPE such as masks and gloves to protect themselves during procedures. Isolation is required for patients diagnosed with highly contagious diseases. And the last one, exercise 3, you have to categorize the words. You have to put the places in the correct category, parts of the immune system, types of pathogens, and immune responses. Read the words, pause the video, and do the exercise. Now let's check the correct answers. So, parts of the immune system, that is antibody, antigen, and immune system. Types of pathogens, that is virus, bacteria, fungi, parasite. And immune responses, inflammation, histamine, and sepsis. Practice time. You have to present a short medical case. So, a 45-year-old patient is admitted with fever, chills, and rapid heart rate. Blood tests reveal a bacterial infection. What treatment would you suggest? You should use terms like antibiotics, infection, and immune response. And another activity, you have to do role play. One student acts as a doctor explaining a diagnosis and another plays as a patient. And again, you have to use the vocabulary from today's lesson, like inflammation, infection, immune system, or any other words. So this is the end of our today's lesson. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Goodbye.